welcome to the Krewe Chops Guild Wars 2 blog. I'm Josh.
And I'm Micah.
And on tonight's show, we're going to be talking about several topics. First, we're going to introduce ourselves, and we're going to go into depth about what we have in plan for the blog. Also, our experiences with the original Guild Wars. Well, the thing to know about me and Micah is we've known each other for a long time. We're good friends most days. We also we work together. We've went to school together. We play games together.
Yep.
So we see a lot of each other.
Now we have a blog together.
Yeah, and now we blog together, just as good friends should do. So something you should know about us is we have addictive personalities.
Very addictive.
Do you remember when we first found this out?
Well, I found it out because of you, because you are the one that got me onto this. Because I didn't realize. I mean, I played games and I'd play them for a long time, like the Warcraft series and everything. And I did stick to certain games, but I really didn't find out how addictive of a personality I had until you introduced me to Battlestar Galactica.
The thing is I'm a creature of habit. I'll be driving along the road, and you could tell me a million times that I needed to turn right, but since I've always turned left, I'll turn left anyway. I can't. And this has happened.
This is from experience, guys. I've been in the car.
Yeah, true story.
So, more than once.
So Battlestar Galactica was my first series I've ever watched from start to finish, and we were huge nerds, geeks into this series. Fanboys, yes. We never missed an episode. We waited forever because this was during the time of the writer's strike and season 4
God, I hate those things.
to 4.5. There's this big year-long gap. So we were no strangers to waiting like we are right now for Guild Wars 2.
And let me tell you, like, with our personalities, if we're not waiting 9 out of the 12 months of the year for something, we're doing something wrong. Just saying.
Right.
We have to be excited about something or our world's just crushed.
Yeah, it's kind of annoying for the people who work with this. It's like, have you heard about this next greatest and best thing ever? And the reason we're doing this blog is because we are big fanboys. I mean, I'm not doing it objectively, okay? I'm very much convinced that Guild Wars 2 is the next greatest thing for gaming.
Well, I mean, I know a lot of people have hypes about other games and stuff like that, but if you really do take them a moment to check out Guild Wars 2, you can tell that they have reinvented MMO gaming and just like even in the simplest ways, it's just crazy what they have done for that game.
Right, and I mean, I want everyone listening to this blog to be convinced themselves. Don't take our word for it. Look up some of this stuff. You'll be amazed. ArenaNet's doing a beautiful job on the game. And this would be a good time to talk about our experience with the Guild Wars series in general. How did we get started, Micah, on...
Yeah, well, I mean, I was always a big Warcraft fan, even from the beginning of Warcraft. So, naturally, I bought World of Warcraft and started playing it. And I wanted Josh to play with me, but the only way he could play with me is on friends' accounts. And if they were on, he had to wait to log in. Yeah, he's cheap. He doesn't spend extra money on things.
Well, I have
ridiculous.
A wife, and she doesn't see... She
does the bills.
Yeah, and she doesn't want me to, and I don't want to either. I don't want to pay another bill for a game.
And I feel the same way, but back in the day, it was like that was like the only thing. It was just World of Warcraft. There are a couple other, and I tried Guild Wars a long time ago because me and my brother used to share a WoW account, and I got tired of him bugging me all the time to let him on. I was like, dude, I just want to play, because you get addicted to it.
Yeah.
So I bought Guild Wars. I was like, here you go. Here's a free MMO game. You have fun. And I played it for a little bit, but there was a lot of things I didn't like about it because I was used to WoW, and I wasn't going to conform or change the way I look on it. It's like if it wasn't like WoW, it wasn't a game, you know.
Right.
So so then Josh comes up to me a few years later. I mean, that was like 2006 when I bought that, and it was like 2000 May 2009 when you asked me you got tired of playing those. You got tired of playing
Well,
WoW.
see, MMOs are my favorite type of
Well,
game. I knew that because when I played WoW, I had a lot of fun. I liked the idea that there's all these people around you.
and you're doing, and you're doing objectives and stuff like that. Now, WoW's not that great of, you
Right.
know, making people work together with it, except for their dungeons. That's the only time you work together with people. But out in the world, you're like, that's my mob, and you don't let anybody touch it. You're just
And I
like,
and I actually didn't understand that because whenever I played WoW, I'd always go up to people and because I'm an MMO noob. I mean, I would go up to people and I would like, oh hey, let me help you kill that thing, and then I would hit it first and I would get the credit for the kill.
they just run off.
Yeah, and they would basically flip me the bird, and I'm like, oh hey buddy, what you doing?
And I'd be like, Josh, you noob, get over here. It was really funny. But so he'd asked me about a free MMO, and I was like, I remember Guild Wars, and I was like, it was pretty decent for being free.
Yeah, and I think it was all serendipitous anyway because I think Steam was having a sale on Guild Wars actually, the trilogy. So I was able to buy it pretty cheap. I
It
think
was like $20.
all three games for $20. I
Yeah.
didn't have the expansion for Eye of the North yet. So I'm playing Guild Wars, and the first thing I notice is it's not cartoony. I immediately loved that. It didn't feel like it was cartoony. It felt like it had better graphics than World of Warcraft. The controls were really different, and a really big learning curve. I was playing pre-searing, and pre-searing is a lot like World of Warcraft because there's no clear level cap in sight. Um, the mobs are really easy and soloable. You don't have to bring henchmen along. Um,
You just can't jump.
yeah, you can't jump. That was like the only downfall, right? So it felt, and I would go from quest to quest to quest to quest, and that was natural for me because that's how you do it in other MMOs. You would have a breadcrumb trail leading you through.
Yep.
And so it was your traditional MMO on pre-steering. Well, so I actually convinced you to come back and play a pre-steering character with me. I was like 6 levels ahead of you, but you came back and I think we played a little bit and got you up to, and we were both level 10 before we left. And
Well, actually, we weren't level 10. We were like level 6, but we got level 10 throughout, like playing after pre-steering. But I remember also, like when you were talking about getting me back, uh, I wanted to play my Necromancer because I remember I wanted to be a minion master.
oh right, because we looked it up on PVA because it's still when you have a game like Guild Wars and you have to choose a second class, and then you have to also choose your skills out of a big giant pool of skills.
You can either be a really good or really bad player.
Yeah, I mean, you have the opportunity to really suck, and we did suck pretty bad. And so it didn't take us long to find out that there was resources out there, PVX wiki, where we could find builds. And so you found a minion master, and I think at the time we were actually looking at archived builds, but we didn't.
Oh, we were. No.
So you're gonna be a minion master. I was gonna be. I think I had
You had a ranger with me.
a ranger.
Mm-hmm.
I did, didn't I? I had no idea what I was gonna be. I just wanted a pet. And
I know you were really dedicated to the getting a pet.
we leave precinct, and all hell breaks loose because now we're no longer able to solo the content by ourselves. We needed henchmen. So we would go outside the city walls. We would find a mob. We would pull it, and we would die. And we just did rinse repeat. And then finally we found out how to bring henchmen along.
It took us a long. Well, it didn't take. It took us actually until our second time, because even like we were trying to do it without henchmen. Our first time playing, we didn't like they took our loot and stuff like that, and we didn't want them to do that, and we thought it was more like WoW where you didn't really need henchmen, and we still had the WoW mindset of doing every quest.
So we had this mindset of World of Warcraft, like Micah said, where we would go and we would go to each and every quest, and it was so boring. We didn't read the quest, we weren't getting any lore, and it was hard. We thought we weren't going to get any cool loot if we brought henchmen with us, because we had asked someone in the town, what's the downside of bringing henchmen, and they said, oh, you don't get as much loot or rare loot, and we thought that sucked.
Yeah.
We were like, we're gonna, do
Screw henchmen.
Right. Well, at this point, there's no reason even playing, okay? Because it's a lot of trouble. We were being griefed. Every time we walked out of the gate, we would get killed.
Yeah,
And
it
it's
was
all
ridiculous.
instanced. It was all instance. So as soon as you went back in the town, back through another instance, you'd come back out, and all the mobs would be respawn. You'd have to go do the same thing you just had to do. It became a nightmare. We did not have any fun at all. Okay, and this is where we quit Guild Wars. And
Well, I quit first, and you
right,
you decided to remake a new character because you really enjoyed pre-steering and made a warrior.
right, I made a warrior, and I guess I didn't give up just quite yet, because I made a warrior, and went to post steering. And then as a warrior, I felt if I was a more tank type character, which I didn't really understand tanking in general MMOs, with the taunt mechanic and aggro. But I figured the warrior in this game would be a tank. You could have heavy armor as such. And so I go out and I'm still dying. I bring a healer henchman, and I'm actually getting a little further than me and Micah. I try to tell him to come back. He doesn't want to.
That was in WoW.
Right. Anyone who's played WoW, Well, at this point, we decided, to put it down. And I went to their website and I saw this little ad for Guild Wars 2, and I got kind of excited about that because it was going to be free and it was going to be upgraded. I was thinking maybe they'd fix some of the things, that we didn't like.
I think at the time they said there's going to be a jump button.
Yes, they said you could jump, and so we were pretty excited. Well, I was excited.
I was still in WoW, not
Now,
ignoring you.
Micah was in WoW, because you just got to remember we have addictive personalities, and Micah is now focused on World of Warcraft. So it was about 3 months later. We went, or I went rather. I went back to the Guild Wars 1 website, and I saw that Guild Wars 2 had their own website up now. It was around the time of Gamescom 2010, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was 2010.
So they had their own website, and they started releasing so much info. And whenever I saw the video of the Shatterer,
Oh God, yeah.
do you remember that epic feeling? And you remember the feeling, the just
You mean
seeing
the goosebumps?
Yeah, the goosebumps, the sheer joy of seeing that thing being out, into the world.
And then besides just having that out in the world to openly go to, they're like, it's a smaller dragon. You're
Right.
like,
They said it was a mouse compared to a lion, and back then I was about to shit my pants. Okay.
can we say shit over YouTube?
Yeah, I think so.
I'm just playing with you.
Hey, Yogscast can do it. We can do it. Sponsor. So,
Okay.
anyway, so we're watching these Guild Wars 2 videos, and we are really, really excited. We decide, because this is also the time that they released info about the Hall of Monuments. The Hall of Monuments, for those who don't know, is actually a reward system with tangible rewards in Guild Wars 2 for stuff you've completed in Guild Wars 1. The first 5 rewards were armor pieces.
Oh, and those look awesome.
Yeah, and they looked really cool. And it's like, dude, I'm pretty sure we're going to get Guild Wars 2 when it comes out. let's at least get these armor pieces. And so we start playing, and
You started before me because you got
I,
Eye of the North,
right,
and you're telling me because like it was in a weekend. You got Eye of the North, and you found the Hall of Monuments and everything, and you started playing. And then like that when we went back to work, you were telling me about it, and I was like, when you showed me the Hall of Monuments, man, I was just like, gave me a goal, you know.
right,
Like at first, Guild Wars I didn't have a goal. Like I wanted to experience everything in Guild Wars, and that was just too overbearing.
right.
And I was like overwhelmed with all that. So when it finally gave me a goal for, the Hall of Monuments just to get those points, it's like, well, I can go a little bit here, and just get this, and then I'll be okay with it,
Right, right. And then we could just go into Guild Wars 2 and, play from there, and we wouldn't have to go through Guild Wars 1. Well, like you said, I bought Eye of the North, and it was like over a weekend, and I actually learned how to play the game. I was like, screw the
You
quest.
really did.
I'm going to go mission to mission to mission to mission. And we had a vague knowledge of what missions were.
Yeah,
and
we
just
didn't know them before.
Yeah, and just see how it worked. And that was key to enjoying Guild Wars. See, we had these preconceived notions that we should have this breadcrumb trail, and this is actually
That was our breadcrumb trail, and it was sitting there in our face, and we didn't realize the missions were our breadcrumb trail.
right. You didn't have to do the quests; they were completely optional.
It's just if you wanted to move, you would do a quest. It's like, oh, I want this move, so I will do this quest. But
Right.
like, you didn't have to do everything like we thought.
Right, and once we figured that out, Guild Wars became so enjoyable. I immediately convinced Micah to come back and just play some of the missions with me. It was so much fun because they're completely voice acted. They make you feel like you're a part of the world, and they immerse you. They do a really good job at telling a story, and this is something an MMO usually doesn't have. And
Well, some of them also are a little cheesy, but they were fun to make fun of too.
right, right, yeah. Well,
Balthazar's beard.
yeah, by Balthazar's chest hairs. So we went back and we just went, and we realized the level cap was actually at 20, and at first we didn't know what to think about that, but it actually turned out to be a lot of fun because 20 was a fairly reasonable
Level.
level. It was kind of easy to get to.
The thing is, like, it's not Guild Wars is not all about your level. It is somewhat because you get more stats when you level up and stuff like that, and you can put more points in. But the main thing about Guild Wars is your skills. It's finding those skills that you need. That's what helps you succeed in that game.
Right, to have the right build and to go at it, the best you can. Levels, and that was something we've been conditioned to think about too. Is in WoW and other MMOs, you want to get to max level as fast as possible. You want,
Because that's where the content is.
Right, and at this point in Guild Wars 1, the content was staring us in the face. We just didn't know how to access it because we were so conditioned. I think this is a key reason why Guild Wars 1 failed. I mean,
Everybody's used to that way. I mean, it didn't fail because they have a big player base.
Yeah, 7 million had bought Guild Wars 1. So, they didn't really fail, but they failed us at the beginning. Actually, I guess more along the lines, we failed because
We failed them.
right, we failed them in a sense. Back on the Hall of Monuments, we didn't forget about that. We kept grinding and grinding. Actually, Micah, I think you quit for a while.
Well, during that time, I was quitting and rejoining because a lot of that grinding, required a lot of money. It wasn't like, doing certain things. It's like if you had the money to get it, you could have it almost. So there's a lot of other grinding also, but a lot of it was money based.
Right.
So it's like I got tired of I didn't want to do raptor farming. I didn't want to set that up. I know you were doing it, and our friend Dwayne that was playing with us was doing it. And, I didn't want to set that up. It just seemed like too much of a hassle, and I was just like kind of disappointed at how hard it was to get money at first.
Yeah, it is hard to get money, and it's a huge grind, and that was something that really turned you off about it, and you quit playing. But there was something about that Hall of Monuments. I got the full armor set, and then I'm like, oh well, I need the dragon sword. I got the dragon sword. Oh well, I need the tabby cat. Damn
Well,
it.
you want to know something else that kept me going into the game? It's because each time you come home or come to work after the weekend, you'd be like, "Look how many more points I have." You'd be like,
Right.
"Dang it!" I was like, "I got it. I'm so competitive. I just want to catch up with you and get ahead of you and be like, ha ha."
Yes. So we had that going on too, where I would come to work and throw it in your face that I got 2 more points. So
Thanks, Josh.
yeah, and I had been playing a lot more than he had. I finally found something that was making me some money. I found out how to do e-
Ecto farming.
ecto farming, right, with the
So
ritualist.
that's what he got me back in again because he told me about how any class could be a ritualist and go ecto farming, and he's like, there's a dual spec one that we could both do it together, and I
Hmm.
was like, this seems like a lot of fun. We did have a lot of fun for a while, but I mean, at the same time I got tired of the grinding and everything. But what kept me going this time more, like, and this is where I finally just came back, and Josh already has 30 points, but he was wanting to work a little bit farther,
Right.
and I was finally like, I was like, dude, I'm gonna get my 30 points. So I was like, I'm gonna ecto farm with you. And then
Hmm.
they had beyond content and everything.
Warren
So
Kreite. The
they had
Warren Kreite.
yeah. So we were doing ecto farming, but while he wasn't on, I was like, you know what? I haven't beat War on Kryta. I'm gonna go do that. So I'm going through the missions and everything, and then I'm at the end of this. Like it's like the mission before the last mission, and I'm at the very end of this, and like I almost just didn't even get to loot this. I almost like missed it, but like I see this like green drop off of these things, and it's like it says miniature Confessor Isaiah. And so I pick it up, and I'm like, whatever. I was like, I wonder how much this sells for. I'm gonna ask Josh when he gets on, So I'm just like,
That's
"Look, I keep playing. So finally, Josh comes on. I'm like, dude, guess what? Confessor Isaiah miniature dropped. I was like, should I keep it or should I sell it?
I was very tempted to say no, it's worthless. Give it to me, and I'll take care of it for you.
Yeah, that would have been mean.
I was so pissed off at you
He really was,
because I had spent all these countless hours grinding my ass off, and you get Isaiah, and you
which just
sell it for how much?
250 Z keys, I think, or something like that. I think it was around 250 Z keys.
Needless to say, it didn't take long for him to catch up to me in the Hall of Monuments.
Well,
Let's just say that.
Well, I mean, really, like after I got those keys, I was 30 points like the next day or two.
Yeah,
So
I know, and it was pretty upsetting.
it made me really happy. I enjoyed the game after that. I still have some money left over.
Yeah. Um, okay, moving on. Um, for those of you still listening, I don't know what's wrong with you. You must be really bored or at work. This is our plans for the blog. We're casual. We're not taking this really that seriously. We'll blog here and there.
And this is mostly just for our enjoyment. We enjoy the game. We just want to, have something to tell people that why we enjoy it, and hopefully, they'll get excited about it.
Right. We wanna spread the good news. We wanna tell everyone we know about this game. And that's the main reason, the main drive behind this. We're enjoying doing it. It's fun for us. We like getting on here and just goofing off. So, and we might as well, make it into a blog where everyone can enjoy it. And we plan on refreshing Guild Wars Guru constantly, looking for the open beta events that are going to happen in March. I think April too. I think. I'll have
I
to look
think,
that up.
yeah.
So we're going to be, constantly trying to get into that, and we'll have footage for you guys if that is allowed. I'm pretty sure it will be. But
And if we get in,
right, and if we get in, we'll have some footage of us playing the beta. We'll go through the skills, that basic stuff. We'll just have fun doing it, and
you see a lot of jumping. I'm like, I can jump. I can do it.
I've played Guild Wars 2 because
Yeah, he got
I went to PAX East, and I live in Oklahoma. It was a horrible drive, 24, 26 hours, I believe. Cause
Should have taken me with you though.
well, I had to convince my wife to go. It wasn't a cheap trip. If I would have said, "Oh, Mike is gonna, sleep in the sleep on the ground," in our
Oh God.
right, it would have been something.
Yeah.
But I convinced my wife, to take me down there, and I got to stay in there for one day. We had a 3-day pass, but I only stayed one day because I wasn't sure because I had to make it fun for her too. We went around the Boston and everything. I wasn't sure how long we'd actually get to stay. I ended up going to PAX East one day. Spent my entire time there with Guild Wars 2. Had my wife film me on a flip video we had bought. Yes, she stood there the full 40 minutes, and she claims I did not tell her that the demos were 40 minutes long. I swear, I told her they were 40 minutes long.
Whatever, I don't believe you. You're just like, here, honey, hold this.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun though. I got to play it. The game is completely different now, but I got to play a Norn Guardian, and I got to play a human guardian too, a high level human guardian, yeah, or a mid level. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I mean, I had a blast with this game. It was fluid, everything. The Guardian I was not good at all. I was very used to Guild Wars 1 too, so I kept on jumping up and down, hitting the space bar, because in Guild Wars 1 that's attacking. You attack someone by hitting the space bar.
It makes you automatically run up to him also.
Right. So I was like, I would sit there and I'd tab target someone and I'd jump up in the air at them, and they weren't too threatened by it. And I'm pretty sure I got a lot of laughs at me from anyone who was watching me in the line. I was really embarrassed. I even got to see Jeff Grubb, and I was too intimidated to go and say hi to him. I saw Colin and I'm going to say her name wrong. Tazay. I don't know. I can't remember if Regina was there or not. I know Martin Kirstein was. I had asked him about underwater content.
Isn't that the guy you got to ask a lot of questions to, or?
No, I actually met Peter Fries, who is a writer. And I was embarrassed because I didn't know who he was at that time, and I asked him. I was like, "So what do you do?" And I had asked him like that 3 times because I have a really bad memory. But yeah, it was really cool. He's an awesome guy. He loves to laugh. He laughed a lot. But yeah, we had fun. They were having technical difficulties that day.
I remember you calling me and telling me a lot about that.
Yeah, and so everyone left the Guild Wars 2 booth, and it wasn't ArenaNet's fault. It was Logitech's fault. They had like a bad router.
Oh man.
Of course, I was still right there watching the whole thing. It's like, can I get on anytime now? But everyone else had left because they knew they weren't working. So
I just like picture you with a little mini tent,
Right. So I was there. My wife, I have no idea where she is. She is probably in the cafeteria, and I felt horrible for bringing her along. But yeah, so I was waiting there, and they finally get it on. Well, I'm in first one in line, so me and Peter Fries just play for. I played actually one game. I let everyone else, because the crowd started coming back, and I let everyone else have a try at it.
No, you gotta share. Sharing's caring.
Sure, I had a chance. I could have done it again, but I'm just not that kind of guy, right?
I wish I would have done it. I just wouldn't have moved. I'd been like, if you can push me, you can play. No, I'm just kidding.
Anyway, so I had a lot of fun. I got to play the game firsthand. Let me tell you, it was incredible then, and it's even more incredible now.
A lot of the changes are very cool.
Yeah, they had energy back then. The personal story for the Norn is completely different now. It feels different. The voice acting's different. The cinematics are different. The engine their rendering engine's improved. It's a completely different game. And back then, I remember it being revolutionary.
Yeah.
So.
And they didn't have underwater combat unlocked back then or anything.
No, they did. That was when they first showed it at. Well, God, I'm going to get this wrong. No, they didn't. They
Had the skill. They showed that there was going to be something different, but the
right.
skills were locked in
The
water.
interface showed, because that's what I asked Martin Kirstein about. I asked him if there would be underwater combat. He was very, standard answer. Uh, yeah, we'll have underwater combat. It will be different than land combat. But yeah, it showed in the interface. It showed a aquatic weapon slot, and that was the first time, heard about it or seen it. I'm always on the forums. I'm always looking at all the updates. Anyway, wow, rambled here.
Well, we kind of got off a little bit of here. So, I mean, PAX East was really awesome, but back to the plans of the blog, because we really rabbit trailed there. But
Right.
some of the things we're also looking at, besides just having a lot of beta videos for you guys if we get in, we're also, like, when the game releases, we're thinking about maybe trying to do a Let's Play series. And, like, we'll have, like, Let's Play the personal story or something like that. And we'll, show you one side of the personal story of
Right.
a character. We're hoping to have a Let's Play World v. World, so you guys can just see the craziness of us running around getting owned, probably.
Right. Right. And then competitive PvP, which I should say, where we will get owned quite a bit.
Hey, you never really know.
Yep,
We could be really good.
Maybe.
Well, I mean, I do decent at arenas and battlegrounds. I mean, I will never say I'm the best, but, I still do pretty good. So we have a chance, definitely with the whole new game, we can be the first ones out there to try it.
Right, and we will.
Crossing my fingers.
And hopefully, Krewe Chops might evolve into a community, which might evolve into a guild. So we might have guild events.
Yeah, we'll have, like, massive World v. World if this all goes down,
Yeah, and we'll be sure to film that and put it here on YouTube, if we're allowed to. So, but that's the plans for the blog. I think we're gonna try and wrap this up and get some sleep. This is our first time blogging, so we
let's just say we had a lot of takes.
We had a lot of stuff to cut out here. We're 1 hour and 15 minutes, and I don't know how long it will be after we've cut everything out. Anyway, thank you all for listening. Please come back and subscribe and like the video. If you didn't like the video, dislike it and tell us why, and we'll take it into consideration.
In the description, we're going to have our Facebook, our Twitter, and also we have our normal blog website if you guys want to subscribe, like, follow, whatever you guys want to do,
Whatever social media you are in, we've tried to cover the ones we're familiar with anyway. If you're new to Guild Wars 2, definitely check out our blog because we have a new to Guild Wars 2 page on our blog.
It has everything.
Well, it doesn't have everything.
It has a link to everything. No,
it has a link to everything. Within one of our links, you'll be able to find everything, I'm pretty sure. But anyway, show us some love, and
we'll see you guys next time.